Raw's go-home show before WrestleMania was last night. Was it a good show before WrestleMania? A final Raw before WrestleMania to tie up these feuds? I'll let you know my thoughts on that, plus some other breaking WWE news on this episode of Screw the Script. So on Raw, I believe it opened up either with that Bayley match or Gunther, but we'll start with Gunther. He cut a solid promo, and I'll get to Jey Uso in a few minutes here for this review, because quite the opposite with him. I'll just say that for now. Anyway, solid promo by Gunther. He has gotten a lot better on the mic over the last couple of years, since really just getting the spotlight on Raw, on the big two shows. When he was originally in NXT UK, early on in his career for WWE. This feud, I would say, I'm a little bit more excited for it now. And that promo last night by Gunther anyways kind of solidified that. He's doing great heel work right now. I hope it continues regardless of what happens at WrestleMania. After that, we did see, which I didn't like. One thing that I didn't like about this Raw is it really just didn't feel like a Raw before WrestleMania. Outside of a couple of good promos, I didn't really like any of the matches last night, and that's honestly just my opinion. You could agree or disagree with me on that. I think, honestly, the match of the night was the first match that happened, which was Bayley. I can't remember. It was Bayley and Liv. That's right. So solid match. It went a lot longer than I thought it was going to go. I think it was over 10 minutes. I think it was like 12, 13, or 14 minutes long, somewhere around there. So those two ladies, they put out a great showing, a great effort on the final Raw before WrestleMania. But in my opinion anyways, that was the only match that really showcased some great effort before Mania. The other matches, which I'll go through in a moment, just didn't really have that feel. But solid match, solid win for Bayley. I believe she was the one that won. The only thing that I did want to mention, and I hate to be a stickler on this stuff, but there was a bad flop in this match that really kind of just. It was towards the end of the match too. It really just it fell off for me. I mean, you had that I forget what Bayley hit Liv with, but she was near the ropes, and you saw her kind of like scoot. You know, I hate when wrestlers are bad at placing themselves on the mat when they need to, like, you know, like the very obvious, like, let's scoot over a foot before someone does something off the top rope. You saw Liv do that to get near the bottom rope. Yet, when the ref was counting, her foot missed. I mean, there's a clip of it right here. So, like, that was just bad looking. It really was. Her foot completely missed. It fell off the rope. The ref kind of, like, panicked and held for a second so she could get her foot back up before his hand hit the 3 count. It was just a sour ending to otherwise a great opening match for Raw. And, again, that was the only match for Raw that I really liked. Because we got... This was your go-home show before Mania. What in the hell are you doing, WWE, where you get... I had to pause because I wasn't home right at 7 when it started last night, so I was kind of playing catch-up. When I was watching the recording, basically, I paused it for a moment to get a drink for myself, and I saw... As the second match was about to start, it was 45 minutes into Raw. 45 minutes. I've said this before and I'll say it again, there are way too many promos and recaps on weekly episodes of Raw and SmackDown. Why? We all have social media. It's 2025. I get that this is like, you know, a lot of what you did 20 years ago, but it's 2025, not 2005. Everybody has seen what's gone on in the last week. We don't need to keep showing these 2, 3, 4, or 5 minute recap videos of every little thing that goes on in WWE. And then have these, another thing that really just pisses me off and I can't stand is throwing in promos and ads and shit in between entrances. It's so long. Um, and like just being in that crowd live too, like you have to sit there and listen to that person's music for 5 minutes while they're just standing awkwardly in the ring because they're either at a TV timeout or they're running a video package for 2 minutes. I think it's a huge flaw in WWE. They haven't changed it. I don't know if they care to ever change it. I think that's just kind of how they're going to be moving forward for a while. I don't like it. I really don't. One of the other, only 4 matches, if I remember right, there was only 4 matches. One of the other 4, very few for a 2.5-hour episode, was Rey Mysterio versus Julius Creed. And it was an okay match, you know. It really just highlighted the fact that Rey Mysterio can still go. I mean, he's just ageless. He's timeless. It's Rey Mysterio, you know. But what I didn't like was the whole like mishap. Still, I really can't buy the whole like loaded mask by El Grande Americano. Granted, the run-in at the end and everything was fun, and it really fueled their feud going into Mania. After what happened last night, it really looks like Rey Mysterio is just gonna win. I always make this joke all the time within my like friend group that for a feud going into especially a big show like WrestleMania, the person that gets the last laugh on the show prior typically is the one that loses. So we saw El Grande Americano cheat and everything. Well, Rey Mysterio picked up the win, but we saw El Grande Americano come out and, just do some heel work, kind of have like the last laugh upper hand thing. We all know he's losing at Mania. Rey Mysterio is going to go over. It was all an okay segment. Real quick before I cover the rest of Raw, I just kind of want to go off tangent for a minute or two on something that really kind of bothers me with WWE today. And it was showcased last night. They showed WrestleMania week. It is too much in 1 week for one promotion, in my opinion anyways. And the thing that really, like, I was like, what the fuck? The Hall of Fame starts at 10 p.m. on Friday night. No one's going to stay up for that. Especially, honestly, it's kind of boring. I mean, it's just a Hall of Fame ceremony. There's nothing like super exciting about it. It's not a pay-per-view, or PLE, I should say. So I really think that that's a big mistake to have your Hall of Fame. They're just piling too much stuff. Like, and there's other examples, in my opinion, on my end for why I feel this way. You've got this photo right here of Undertaker having some sort of like segment or like little show prior to Mania. And like, I don't even remember what day it's on. I think it says it on that photo, but look at that. There's thousands of tickets still. It's just too much. They're making it to be too grand of a spectacle when tickets just for Mania night 1 or night 2 is hundreds of dollars just for nosebleeds. And then if you want a really solid seat, you're paying thousands. And yet you're still charging prices like that for Taker's thing. You're expecting people to stay up late Friday night if they don't, assuming they don't have any Friday night plans and they're just basement dwellers. No one's really going to watch that Hall of Fame ceremony live anyway, late Friday night. I won't be. I don't know. I just feel like... And then there's this photo here. I forgot about this one. 18 hours they have Mania booked for WrestleMania weekend just for Saturday, Sunday, not including all of this other stuff that they're doing leading up to it now. It's just like you can be the biggest, pro wrestling fan of all pro wrestling fans and still get burnt out because there's just way too much stuff going on with WWE. And that includes pre-show and post-show, but still 9 hours Saturday and then 9 more hours Sunday. It's just way too much. I don't like, honestly, I'm giving a round of applause and props to all of the people that work for WWE and in WWE that doesn't get the spotlight like the wrestlers do. I'm talking like Michael Cole, all those backstage guys, any of the writers. That's so much to commit to, and that would just be draining. But that's just my opinion on that stuff. You keep clicking on keyboards, I'll keep being on billboards was a solid line last night by Logan Paul. Again, I've expressed I do not like the Paul brothers personally, although they have matured, so they're not so insufferable to me anymore now that they're older. But I still don't like Logan Paul a whole lot. I would say Jake Paul's shown a little bit more growth over the years. Logan Paul, not quite as much, I would say. But still a solid promo. Styles, one of the only other 4 matches, had just a quick victory against Karrion Kross, who I don't give 2 shits about. I know they're trying to push Karrion Kross, but honestly, he's just a bust in WWE ever since he got called up in NXT. I mean, the only interesting thing that's happened to him in the last year is the fact that he grew his hair out. I mean, so he saw him get a victory over him, but then Logan Paul came out and cut a promo on Styles. You know, it helps that match at Mania. It's still not, to me, a Mania level quality match. Like, it just doesn't resonate with me that this should be a match at WrestleMania when you have other champions that are left off the card. Like I've expressed in my previous video, the SmackDown Tag Champs aren't on the card, but you have Logan Paul, an internet personality, and an aging AJ Styles that's going to take some spotlight instead. I don't agree with that. And now to my least favorite thing that happened on Raw last night that really just put somebody 2 steps back. After they took a forward in my mind, they just took 2 steps back, and that was Jey Uso. Last Raw, or 2 weeks ago on Raw, when that whole bit where Gunther attacked Jimmy Uso, all of that was great. That really reignited this feud and actually made me care about it for Mania. Last night, it's like Jey took a step forward with that 2 weeks ago, but 2 full steps back last night, because he very much just proved yet again that he is all an entrance. I mean, the crowd wasted it felt like 15 minutes of Raw last night just yeeting. And then he does like the whole encore thing. And then after that's finally done, he talks for 3 minutes maybe, tops. And it was the most generic like face promo that he's cut in some time. I don't know. It's just, again, I'm just not fully behind giving Jey Uso this much spotlight to be like a world champ when he is basically just all promo and entrance. I should say, not all promo, mostly just entrance. His promos are okay. Sometimes, once in a while, he'll cut a great promo, but for the most part, they're just okay. And then, yeah, I just think last night was a big setback for him. And then on top of that, I mean, the only thing that was worse than that was Michael Cole yeeting. I mean, someone's got to teach him how to do that better. It looks so awkward. I mean, the only thing that was more awkward than watching Michael Cole yeet last night by the announce table when Jey Uso was standing on it was this photo that circulated of the McMahon family and Triple H with President Trump. I mean, I thought it was AI generated and fake, but that's a real thing that happened. You know, take it with how you please. But I just don't like anything that happened last night with on Jey Uso's side of all of this stuff. What should have been match of the night for me and what could have been so much more was unfortunately ended shortly by an interruption for the Fatal 4-Way match for the IC title, for Breaker's title. Penta versus Finn last night started off solid, and I was like, okay, like even though this is only the 4th match of the night and they've wasted half my time with yeeting, at least we're going to get a great Penta and Balor match, and it could have been so much better in my opinion. I mean, Balor is a great worker. He's been a great worker for WWE for over a decade. And I was hoping, hey, like, if anyone's going to push Penta and have him really start to go over, at least in my mind, because I've expressed before that I think Penta is just super watered down since he came to the WWE. And Rey Fenix for sure had the better debut on SmackDown last week or 2 weeks ago, whenever it was. This match should have had 5 stars written all over it, but it fell flat at the end because it was interrupted. You saw yet another flop on Raw last night when it was Penta, actually, that did the flop. He went to, well, I guess, I don't know if you blame it on him or Braun Breaker, but he went for a Hurricane Rana and just kind of awkwardly slipped off, and Braun still sold it as if he hit him with it fully, and that just, I don't know, kind of ruined that moment for me. And then you just saw the classic, like, Penta, ooh, I'm going to run off the ropes and jump over the top ropes, and the crowd's going to go nuts like they just saw, like, the second coming of Jesus Christ. Like, he's so watered down. Seriously, like, a lot of you that may be listening to me right now, if you've never seen any of his stuff in AEW or the times that he's over in New Japan or even in, like, AAA and all that stuff in the past before AEW, you watch that stuff and you can see how watered down Penta is in WWE, and I don't like it because I'm a big fan of his and his brother. And I just think WWE is failing and doing kind of an injustice for Penta, and they need to work on their tag division, yet they separate both of them on Raw and SmackDown. Hopefully it's not for long. I also don't agree with that part, so we'll see what comes of Penta. So, again, only 4 matches, which I did not like for a go-home show on Raw. I really think they should have pushed more for this show. Then you had the final promo, and Seth Rollins said something so ridiculous, and I get he's trying to put over this match at Mania, but again, it's just not a match that I'm super hyped for, this triple threat between him, Roman, and CM Punk. I know they're throwing in a lot of story in this with the whole Heyman stuff, the whole, like, favor, blah, 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 but I don't really care, honestly. The actual in-ring match will be good at Mania, I'm sure. But Rollins last night said something that really just made me roll my eyes. And honestly, I laughed out loud, like, literally. He said that, I can't remember if this was verbatim or not, but he said something like, this is the most important and, like, greatest triple threat in Mania history that we're going to have this Saturday, Sunday. And I immediately was like, no. So Shawn Michaels, Benoit, and Triple H from like 20 years ago. That was really good. You had one that was Batista, Daniel Bryan, and I believe Randy Orton was the other one. You had Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha Banks from, I think, 5 or 6 years ago. Even that was a really good women's Mania match. Like, even that, I think, had more cooking behind it than this triple threat that we're about to see this weekend. Jericho, Benoit, Kurt Angle, Rey Mysterio, Kurt Angle, and I think Randy Orton had one at a Mania. I mean, if I really sat and thought about it, I could come up with probably 10 triple threat matches that have happened over Mania's history that were really, really, really good. So for Rollins to say something like that, I think is way overselling what this feud has given us, especially since it's not even for a title. I mean, has he forgotten that this isn't even for the World Heavyweight or the WWE Championship? It's literally just a triple threat, and the main premise is, like, I don't like you, I don't like you, I don't like you. Oh, and, like, what in the hell is Paul Heyman doing? That's it. And then the whole deep cut of CM Punk being the original Heyman guy. And it's just like all these 3 guys, these 3 grown men are fighting over a man. I mean, that's some, I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking it, but I really just don't think that this is going to be one of the greatest triple threats or the most important triple threat in WWE history. Although he did reprise himself because a moment or two later, or a minute or two later, they all started fighting, and he was out in the ring and got a chair and hit Roman Reigns square in the back. All, shades of the Shield days, like over 10 years ago when he decided to turn heel on Roman Reigns, and who was Dean Ambrose at the time. So that was a solid callback. That kind of saved this whole final promo for the night. But again, and that's just kind of how the show ended. Seth Rollins got the upper hand on both Roman and Punk. And then you see Raw close out. And I just think it was kind of an underwhelming Raw before WrestleMania. That's just my opinion. We only had 4 matches, and only one of them was solid. One of them had a run-in and could have been so much more. One of them was just like a less than 10-minute AJ Styles match against somebody I don't give 2 shits about. And then it was just yeeting for like a fifth of the episode, it felt like. I don't know. Maybe I'm too cynical, but I really think that this was a drop of the ball for WWE for their Raw before WrestleMania. Now off to some real quick WWE news to close out this video. Got a picture right here that surfaced a couple of days ago, and there's news that broke late yesterday evening that Jeff Cobb is requesting his release or has been approved already of his release from New Japan. And you saw that photo of The Rock. He's wearing a New Japan shirt you see there, and he's got a Rubik's Cube like he's trying to solve a puzzle. Are we about to see Jeff Cobb, Corporate Cobb, whatever you're going to want to call him, kind of be alongside The Rock? Is The Rock, even though we haven't seen him in over a month now, is he going to get involved in the main event at Mania with Cena and Cody? We'll see. And then on top of that, here's other news. This is crazy considering the timing of the video that I made yesterday about AEW's women division. In my mind, I think is the best women's division in 2025 right now anyways. Not just in terms of history over the last few years or anything, but in 2025. However, Mariah May is potentially on her way out of AEW and has expressed her wanting and desire to go to WWE. Now, if this is true, that is a huge loss for AEW and Tony Khan. Mariah May and Tony Storm, I've expressed, had the best women's pro wrestling feud and storyline over the last year. So if one of them leaves and goes to WWE, that is a huge gain for WWE's women's division. That's all I had then on this episode of Screw the Script. Let me know what you thought about Raw last night. If you agree with any of my points. If you disagree, that's fine. Let me know down below. And as always, this was Maverick with Screw the Script. Thanks for watching.